welcome back to another Food Reviews with Fatty. As always, I'm your host, Jay, of course, aka Fatty. So, like I said, this is a two-parter, so the first video you got was last night on Christmas Eve. These are both being shot at the same time, but just to put it out there, the video that came out last night was on Christmas Eve. This is going to be considered today. This will be Christmas Day for this video when this releases. So, the first part was the Crunch Tators original chips from the Home Alone movie with Kevin McAllister. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. Macaulay Culkin, who portrayed Kevin McAllister, aka the burglar beater, as I like to call him, because he mangled those wet bandits. Everybody knows that they got the hardest end of the stick, the hardest end of the bargain. They got the crap knocked out of them in that first movie and that second movie. And yeah, I mean, it was brutal. That kid is the most brutal kid, or was in the movie anyway, that you'd ever see. So he had these chips called the Crunch Tators, like I said in the last video, original. And since there were both kinds, I decided to do a review of both of these chips. The original was original, and this is the Mighty Mesquite flavored potato chips. And this one in general, it has the gator on the box, except for this time the gator is a cowboy apparently because it's a mesquite flavor. These are both limited time items. They're very hard to find in Florida, especially unless you know the right place, and it took me a month or so to figure that out. Basically, the reason why is because Lay's don't release these every single year. They release them once in a while, and it's usually during the holidays because obviously it brings back the nostalgia of the 90s and some of the things that basically Kevin had as a snack in the movie when he was watching the little gangster movie that everybody knows. And you already know what I'm talking about because it's where he says, "I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your low life filthy whatever out of here. You filthy animal." Yeah, I'm not gonna say it right. It's okay, but because I haven't watched the movie in probably 20 years. So, needless to say, you guys know what I'm talking about, though. You filthy animal. So, yeah, these are actually the mesquite version of those original chips. They do brag and boast a lot of the same things that they do with the original. 150 calories for about 15 chips. 140 grams of sodium, which is kind of high. It doesn't look like for this one here that they use the sea salt like they do on the other chips, but they do also have the mesquite flavoring that's on these. They are called Mighty Mesquite flavored barbecue chips. So yeah, they're guaranteed fresh as always though, and no artificial flavors they claim. These are made by Lay's, Frito-Lay North America, I'm sorry. Still Lay's potato chips. And looks like they're made in Plano, Texas. So apparently Texas is the potato capital for Lay's anyway. So yeah, like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and dig in because I can tell you minutes and minutes and minutes of information about this. But honestly, the only way that we're going to get the real review is to taste it. Okay. Okay, so the first thing I noticed is, for some reason or another, these barbecue ones are a little more crispy. I don't know how. I don't know what differences it would be between the original and the mesquite, but they do have a very kind of like a sweet barbecue sauce kind of flavor. They're not terrible. I will say though that the barbecue flavoring, whatever seasoning they put on this, could be a lot stronger. If I'm tasting the sweetness before I taste the barbecue sauce, it kind of defeats calling it a barbecue chip. Honestly, my first opinion of these is like they barely put barbecue sauce on them. You can't, if you look at it, you can barely tell that there's like, it's an orange color, but the barbecue taste is just, the sweetness almost overwhelms the barbecue taste. And for that, I'm going to go ahead and say, Lays, you have 3 seconds to get out of here, you filthy animal. For the value of these, I already made that point be known in the first video. The value was good because I got 2 bags of potato chips for $6. And they did actually help me make 2 separate pieces of content. However, between the 2 potato chips, I kind of do like the mesquite better. I just wish the flavor was stronger. It has this light barbecue taste, but I'm tasting this sweetness more than I'm tasting that. So that's something that I think that they could really do better on this. For the value, I'm giving the 2 thumbs up, obviously. For the flavor, I'm sorry, but you only get 1 thumb up, Lays, because the flavor could be much better. The crunch, I give it 2 thumbs up, just like I did the original. They are really extra crunchy. These are kettle cooked chips. And I really don't think they're that bad because they're crunchy, but they're not like overwhelmingly crunchy to where you got to break your teeth trying to eat them. And that really kind of is a good thing when it comes to these kind of potato chips because you want crunchy potato chips. You don't want soggy, like overly greased, covered in grease type chips. You know, basically you just eat a chip and then go to wipe it on a napkin and you just come out with a whole friggin' napkin full of grease, which is not cool. Not cool at all. Yeah, I mean, the flavor's not bad, but it's just not as barbecue as you would think. It's almost as if they took the barbecue seasoning that they have, added like some kind of like powdered sugar maybe, or some kind of sweetener to it, and then just basically use the same barbecue that they use on their regular barbecue potato chips. That's really what it feels like. It's just different way of cooking the potato chips. And yeah, I mean, they're not bad, but like I said, it's just basically a 1 thumb up for this one because I'm not really feeling that sweetness before the barbecue. They are barbecue chips, and they should be mighty mesquite, so there should be mighty barbecue flavor. Unfortunately, that was not the case. So I'm going to go ahead and say in my case, I only give it 1 thumb up. They're not terrible, but they're not great. They could be much better, Lays. And if you guys wanted to bring these out and keep these year round, you would make a lot more money. I said it in the last video. I'm going to say it again. That's just the truth. So in this case, this is going to really pretty much wrap up the second video. I don't really have a whole lot more I can say. Pretty much everything that's in the last video is the same thing that's with this one, except for I gave 2 thumbs up to the original because they did use the sea salt, which made the chips actually taste better. I think personally anyway. But yeah, I mean, if you can get a hold of these chips, try them out for yourself. Like I said, they're not horrible. I would go with the original over the mesquite, unfortunately. But yeah. So, this is the part of the show where I let Mr. Predicto make his decision. Mr. Predicto, do these Lays Crunch Tater Extra Crunchy Potato Chips Mighty Mesquite Flavored Barbecue Chips suck?
Best not to say now.
Really, Mr. Predicto? You haven't been very predictable today, man. Apparently, he's not going to say anything for this video or the last video. It's hard for him to predict right now. I don't know if Mr. Predicto started drinking early because it's Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. I don't know. Because the last video, he was a crankiness and wouldn't give me... He said he could not predict it at this time. And apparently today, he's Mr. Unpredictable. Unpredicto. Mr. Unpredicto, why are you not giving me answers? It is unclear at this time. I get it from Mr. Predicto. Well, thanks anyway. And I do apologize for my co-host. He hasn't been very friendly the last couple days. Maybe Christmas makes him a little cranky. I'll have to watch Christmas with the Cranks with him a little later so that way he can get uncranky because they were more cranky than he is. But I don't know, just something about that thing. Sometimes it says the right, yes or no. Now, sometimes it just says, I cannot predict it right now, and I don't like to go through long segments of Mr. Predicto. This is just a little extra content for the show. You know, something a little more entertaining to add to the video, I guess you could say. So in which case, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you all for staying and watching the video. Everybody who supported me, thank you very much. I love all of you. And I also want to say thank you to everybody who liked, subscribed, and rang the bell. Everybody who hasn't, please go do that. Do also put out the word. Word of mouth is the key to everything when it comes to marketing and promotion. And I'm trying to promote the channel to get the public hours. So please do like, subscribe, ring the bell. If there's anything that you want me to review food-wise or otherwise, put it in the description below, or I'm sorry, the comments below. Also, if you want to support the Food Reviews with Fatty channel, please do go buy merch or donate to Patreon. Either one that you choose to do will definitely help out the channel greatly. So, in which case, as I always do, I'm going to say thank you to all you lovely people. I'm going to call it a day. That's what I'm going to say. I messed that up. I'm going to call it a day. And in which case, it's a day. So, as always, anybody who's watched this, and if you haven't, you're going to know what I say next. Food Reviews with Fatty, out.